This is just another video about splitting wood. About the last couple of days splitting wood, and I just figured I'd do a video about it. I promise I won't do any more. The first thing I did is I dragged out the splitter that I built and got that all ready to go. And you can see that loading arm actually doubles as a staging area for me. So I just use that as a table, and I let it down to the horizontal position, and then I'll just load that up with logs. And the good thing is the splitter, I think it weighs about a ton because I built it out of all 1/4-inch plate, so there's no way to flip it over by overloading that arm. It doesn't even move it, so it does work good, and it's nice. You can just stand there. Biggest problem is though that we've been in kind of like a drought and a heat wave lately, and it's just so darn hot out now. Usually by now I've got the splitting all done, but we had a late spring this year, so just kind of getting around to it now. And it's like so hot that every time I fill that little cart up with wood, I have to go in and change my clothes again. You just can't spend more than a couple minutes in the sun at a time. Luckily I've got that hat I got at Costco there, and that helped me a little bit, but you can see it's just nothing but sunshine and warm weather we've been having. And actually we're even on the verge of a drought now, they're saying. By next week we should be in a drought. So you can see this, the splitter is pretty easy. It works good. You just stand there and move the log around and get the job done. I don't really run it that fast. I only run the motor maybe about a third of the way up, so it will move a lot faster if you you crank the motor all the way up on it. But for now, this gets the job done, and it's just too hot to move too fast anyway. And I have to say, anybody that plans on heating with wood really should plan on acquiring a fairly decent splitter, because you will be doing a lot of splitting. This year I really don't have a lot of wood. The pile that I have now, in the end, it only turned out to be maybe about 8 face cords when it was all split up. So luckily I have wood left over from last year, and in the fall I'll get back out in the woods again and start getting next year's out. But I'm a little bit late this year, like I said, because of the weather and the garden and everything, but it'll still get done. So you can see how that loading arm actually does make a good staging table there. I just line the logs up and get ready to go, so I don't have to do any more bending or anything while I'm splitting. And this was really a handy thing, and luckily I built exactly what I wanted, and I'm real happy with the way it works. It's got a electric start on it, and so it starts right up, real easy. The motor's actually buried under that side cover there. You can see there's a vent for the air on the side there, and the exhaust actually comes out the front. And it's really, it's really a joy to use, because there's no bending, no lifting. The logs do bounce around a little bit. You have to slide them a little bit and move them, but you never really have to bend over and pick anything up with this splitter. So that makes it a fairly easy job. Yeah, just about all this wood is just ash or cherry now, so you can see how easily that splits anyway. Most of it you really just have to touch it with the blade, and it starts splitting. But but it is rather hot out now, so it does make it kind of a pain in the neck job. And the things that amazed me this year was I actually found some like emerald ash borers underneath the bark of some cherry logs that I had to split that were a little bit punky on the outside, but the borers actually grew in there. So there you can see I put about that much in the cart. That turned out to be just about 3/4 of a face cord in the cart, and take it over to the other side and stack it up. You see there, my grapes are doing real good. Luckily nothing's really bothered them yet, and they're growing good. But you can kind of see how dry it is, and the elderberries going up the row there, they're basically starting to dry, and the leaves are falling off. And the hops right there that we're going by now too, the Japanese beetles have started digging into them, so they're making kind of a mess. But the apples are even getting kind of dry and starting to drop some of the apples, so it looks like it's going to be another dry year this summer too. But anyhow, I take the wood over, stack it up, and then just go back and start doing another cart full. Now for the larger logs, you can see that loading arm goes down. Actually, there's only a little Harbor Freight 2,500 pound winch in there that operates it, and it's not real fast, and but it does work perfect. It's been working for 10 years with no problems, and I've loaded some real big logs on there, and it picks them right up. So I never had a problem with it, so I've just kind of left it alone. I was going to convert it over to hydraulics, after the winch broke and stuff, but it just, it's still been good and never had a problem, so I'm just leaving it. And the splitter does work really good, and it is like anything else, there is a little bit of work involved when you're splitting wood. Even if you're standing there like this, you still have to finagle it around and, just move it from position to position and catch stuff as it falls. But this really does make it, quite an easy task. And the only thing is, it's just really no fun when it's this hot out. Most of these are like 14 to 18 inch diameter chunks, so they do go real quick and easy. Yep, and each cart full, makes the pile go down some more, so that's a good thing. And some of the logs you can see here, they actually were these were like mainly the rotten cherry, and they just had ant nests all over them, and you can see all the larvae and the ants getting all over everything when I split them open. There's all the little larvae they're trying to carry off and stuff, but I wound up throwing them in a separate pile and not putting them in the cart. I'm going to leave them sit for a while. So, it's just one cart load after the next, and go in and take a break and, take a little ride and take it over and stack it. But there you can see the garden. It's really doing good. A whole lot of water, it's, it's like every other night it's a couple hours out there watering. So that's been keeping me busy and, using a lot of water up. I hope the well holds out if it keeps up this dry. And you can see that area that I filled in last year, that area that was like a pond, is all got grass coming up now, but nothing really good. So, I took them over, stacked them up, and then just go back and grab a couple more. And this is just another view of that loader there. And years ago I would be able to pick up a log this big, but now it's getting kind of tough, so this really does make it a lot easier on me. So you can see there's really no lifting to do once you get it up there and get it on the machine. And I've gotten about 10 years out of this splitter with no real problems or anything. This year I'm starting to see though a slight drip of oil out of the it's a 12 horsepower Kohler motor that came out of like I think it was like a 1970s Cub Cadet or something like that. And it looks like the front oil seal may need to be replaced soon. I'm starting to see some drips, but other than that, there were, I've had zero problems and haven't found anything that it can't split if you, you crank the RPM all the way up. But like I said, I just go slow. I just leave it, set it at lower RPM and just just go along slow so I don't get too tired. It's funny though, you know, I sit here splitting this wood lately, and I just wonder how many more years I'm going to be able to keep up doing this. You know, as you get older, it does make a difference. I just thought I'd show you, this is a 24-inch log. It's the maximum size log that the splitter can take, so you can see it's a real tight fit under there, but that's as big as it'll do. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't take more force or anything to do a longer log. Once you get that first little bit of split open, everything really just goes very easy. Yeah, I can tell you though, next year I'm gonna be smart and actually pile all the chunks of wood over in the shady side of my yard, so I don't have to sit out in the sun like this. It seems like it's getting hotter and hotter every year. And here's just kind of a view looking from the top down. You can see the wedge, how it goes down. And actually that's a razor sharp wedge, and then I've got those other two blocks that split it wide open. And if you get a tougher piece of wood with a gnarly grain on it, they actually start putting pressure on the center of the bottom there. You can see how that's open and kind of pop it apart. So that really helps it, you know, split quickly and easily. So there you can see it. You know, it just goes through wood like butter. Basically, it's just running at a slow RPM now and never really going over 1200 psi on the pressure gauge. So, you know, it's another cart full, and the pile keeps getting smaller and smaller, and eventually it's all gone, all done. There's the pile of the wood with the ants in. I'm gonna let that sit for a while until they all move away, and you know, just take all the good stuff over and stack it. And then once I'm done with the splitter, it's time to put it away till the next time. So that same winch, you just hit the up button and it just pulls the that loading ramp right up against the bracket there to lock it in position, so I can, you know, put it away, and it takes up a little less room. But you can see actually this is like 9.5 feet tall, so it is a pretty big unit. I'm real glad to be done with that stack in this heat that we're having now. So time to just drag the splitter back down in the garage and put it away for now. And it won't be long before we'll be, you know, enjoying the heat from that wood, trying to keep the house warm all winter. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.